The Big Sick wins the award this year for best movie with the worst poster. This is an amazing film, and the poster is the most generic thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the entire cast just
standing there. Just
like, not posing or anything, just that's it. It's like, here's the people in the movie. It's like, okay, like, I got my dad this for his birthday because I went, you know what, this is the type of film that my dad enjoys. I got him this film, and he had never heard of it, and he opened it up, and he looked at it, and just his immediate reaction was just, just, what is this? The Big Sick, like, what the heck is that name? And it looks like something that you would see, like, the DVD release of for something that came on, like, the Hallmark Channel. Like, it really does look like it's on the TV right now.
Yeah, it looks more like a Netflix original series, or like not
Netflix puts more effort into their stuff than this.
like a sitcom you see on like ABC.
Yeah, it looks like a sitcom. Yeah.
Especially with a title like that.
Yeah, doesn't it? But hey, everyone, I just had to get that out of the way right now because, by the way, I should also point out, my dad loved the movie.
Yeah.
He absolutely loved the movie. But man, yeah, they needed to work on their advertising for this a little bit more.
Yeah, like a lot of good movies have like not gotten a lot of good reputation. Because of the bad advertising, and it sucks.
Exactly. Which, that's the thing. Movie posters suck for almost 90% of movies these days. Because movie posters realize no one is going to not see your film because of a bad movie poster. A really good movie poster can get people talking, but if people are already going to go in to see your film, it doesn't matter how bad the movie poster is, it's not going to turn them away from that. No one has ever said, well, I was going to see that, but now I'm not, because that poster was too bland and generic. I remember when everybody was complaining about the Spider-Man Homecoming poster, because it's like, oh, it's just a bunch of Photoshop faces all together. It's like, I'm sure their box office will hurt because of that. I'm sure that they'll see and learn the error of their ways.
It just kind of depresses me, like, as an artist, because, like, there's,
it used to be an art.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you guys saw our review for our post-geek out reaction for The Book of Henry yesterday, the ironic thing is a lot of shit films out there have amazing posters to them. That's where their money goes towards. But yeah, movie posters used to be an art. Like, people used to collect them because they wanted to frame that stuff. They look gorgeous. No one wants to really collect any movie posters these days. They all look kind of like, what the fuck? I don't give a shit. But yes, everyone, this is our first installment of the 2017 Quest for the Best, or I don't know how I should label it. If I should label it by the year that it is now, or if I should label it by the year that we're talking about. Anyway, the Quest for the Best is something that we do in January every single year, in which we go through and we look at some of the films that people call the best of the year, and we watch them all back to back to back to back in order to help me make my best of the year list. And we're kicking it off with The Big Sick, which was a film that I love this year, but I just did not get a chance to talk about it. We went through, we watched it again, and man, this is a film about comedian Kumail Nanjiani. He's pretty famous. Most of you guys probably know who he is. But it was when he was living out in Chicago, and this is actually the true story of how he met the woman that would become his wife, who I have completely forgotten the name of, and I'm trying to skim over the description on the TV behind the camera. Emily. He met Emily. I'm going to edit all that out. He met this woman, Emily. The two of them started to fall in love, but then they kind of hit some rocky waters, you know, as it goes in most relationships and as it goes in all romantic movies. Here's the twist, though. She then goes into a coma, like right when they hit that rocky spot, like right after they break up. And he's the only one that can go and like get her to the hospital. Like her friends call him up and go, yeah, you gotta go and take her to the hospital, like actually check on her. When he gets there, they tell her, her body is failing. We have to get her into into an induced coma right now. A coma? We have to put her in an induced coma right now. I got it. Nailed it. Got it. And I love the scene when that happens, because he has no idea what's going on. And they go up to him and go, we have to have a family member sign to put her in this coma. Are you her husband? What? Why do you have to do that? If we don't do this now, she will die. I ask you again, are you her husband? Which I love that the doctor was just like, I know you're not the fucking husband, but sign the goddamn paperwork.
We need someone, goddammit.
We need to save her fucking life. I can't sign it. They know I'm not her husband.
Yeah, spoiler, he ends up becoming her husband.
Yeah, well, I said that was the real life story of how this happened.
Exactly. So I was joking about the spoiler thing, but
but yes, you're the Ray Romano of this review. Which
I enjoyed him in this movie.
Goddamn, he's good in this. Him, Holly Hunter, everyone is good in this goddamn film.
Yeah.
Even the people with really small parts in here. Like, there is a nurse in here who has, like, maybe 3 lines. There's a moment in which she is telling Kumail why they cannot move Emily. And she was amazing in that, like, one line she gave. I was like, she's like a walk-on character. Who is she? Give her more roles. Yeah, everyone in this is really darn good. But basically, so this woman who he has feelings for, but she just broke up with him, she's now in a coma, and then her parents come in, and her parents know of what happened. Basically what happened is that Kumail Nanjiani is Pakistani, and his parents are still, like, very
traditional.
Very traditional, that's what I'm looking for. And they want to set up an arranged marriage.
With another Pakistani woman.
Yeah, and they basically are like, listen, just follow the rules, do anything you want, but we need you to go to law school, we need you to marry a Pakistani woman. Aside from that, you can live your life however you want. So every single time that he goes over to their house... And go pray. Well, I mean, that's, you know... but every single time that he goes over to their house for dinner, like, the mom always goes, oh, who could that be, when there's a knock at the door and there's like a celebrity guest coming on to like a sitcom, just like, hey everybody, look who just happened to stop by. And it's just another girl after another girl that she is trying to set him up with, and he keeps, like, they basically give him like headshots.
Yeah.
And
it's like online dating before online dating was a thing.
Except that online dating is a thing at this point in time in this.
Yeah, but it's like they're doing it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. But like, yeah, they just bring over like headshots. One of them even like had like a business card there, like a little index card that had like all of her stats, like favorite things, like the back of a baseball card almost. And he just keeps all these in a cigar box. He doesn't care about them. He's not going to date them or anything. It's kind of almost just like, yeah, well, I just kind of want like proof that this is a thing happening in my life kind of thing. But she sees this, and she actually has kind of an understandable freak out. Like, I was going to think like, oh, it's going to be that big misunderstanding thing when she thinks that he's cheating on her with all these other girls. And I hate misunderstandings like that in these types of movies. No, he explains what's going on, and she has a very valid point, which is like, why is she still trying to hook you up with people if we're dating? And I was like, oh yeah, that actually makes sense. And then he goes into it, it's like, well, she would never let me marry a white woman. I mean, my brother married a white woman, and now we haven't spoken to him in years. Like, he got kicked out of the family. I do not want to be kicked out of the family. And she goes, well, then what's the point of this? Is there any future that you can imagine where we end up hooking up? And that's what ended up breaking them up. And I was like, that's actually one of the better breakups I've seen in one of these romantic movies where it's like, oh, they got to break up so they can get back together. This is actually like a legitimate crisis for this guy.
Yeah, and it's based on true events, so it's like, wow, real life is way more impressive than like fiction.
That's the thing. Knowing that all this like actually happened in real life actually makes you...
Yeah.
It made me want to meet Kumail Nanjiani and just go, so what happened after this? Like, what? How did everything work out after
like,
the movie
are you
ended?
back with your family?
What's the sequel to this, is what I want to know. But yeah, so she ends up going to this coma, he ends up meeting the parents, and the parents are like, she tells us everything. And at first, they're very standoffish, but especially the mom, played by Holly Hunter, I should really just have the names of everybody in every movie we ever do one of these for on the TV behind the camera, because this is way better than me having to pull out my phone and look at.
Like, just have cue cards over on the other side of the camera.
That's not a bad idea. But Holly Hunter is very much like, no, get the fuck away. Listen, it was nice you just signed the paperwork. We're glad you did that. Now go. Ray Romano, he breaks first, though, in which he's just like, okay, hey, come over here and sit with us at lunchtime. And she's like, I don't want to fucking sit here with us. I'm like, no, it's fine. Which later on in the movie, which by the way, I should point out when we do these post-geek out reactions, we go into full spoilers. So if you have not seen this film, tune out now. It's very good. Thumbs up all the way. Hurrah.
Yes.
But okay, later on in the film, we do end up finding out that that Ray Romano cheated on Holly Hunter, that Emily's dad cheated on her mom. and this apparently happened recently. And when you know that and going back and looking at these scenes, it's like, oh, that's kind of another reason why he was like, I want Kumail to come and have lunch with us. I don't want to just be sitting here with you in silence. My daughter is in a coma, and you're giving me the death stare at the same time. I can't take it. I need something. So he just need Kumail over there just to talk to.
Like, and when you realize that, you understand why Beth, like Emily's mom, is like also upset with Kamal. Like she, like, oh, my husband's cheating on me, and this nice boy broke, and this nice boy like broke my daughter's heart. I can't trust. Oh, I'm just in a bad mood all the time.
I can see that too.
And like one thing I like really enjoy about this movie is like, even though there are like two different cultures, there's no really, they're not racist. Like, not, I mean, the race, not race, but like race is not a big issue. It's not the reason why there's friction between the characters.
Well, aside from Kumail's parents.
Yeah, I mean.
You're like, glad that there is, okay, what you're trying to say is, you're glad that the reason why there is friction on Emily's parents is because of stuff going on with Emily's parents and their own stories. It's not because they have like a natural prejudice or anything. Right. That's However, Ray Romano is kind of awkward white guy racist at the beginning.
But
like there is a moment at the beginning in which he's like, the moment that Kumail sits down, the first thing out of his mouth is, so, 9/11, you know, this.
Yeah, well, it's like.
always want to have a talk about with, you know, people. You've never talked about 9/11 with people? You know, so what's your stance on it? Anti?
like he got it out of his system and now he's good, so.
He's like I said, awkward white guy racist is what he was like. I don't know what to say about this.
Like once that was over, they realized that they have like a lot in common.
The bonding that goes on between Emily's parents and Kumail is fantastic.
It is.
It's one of the best things in this film. Because, he can't talk to his parents about this.
Oh, no.
At all. So he has to talk to someone, and they need to talk to someone, and I love that, it's very interesting watching these people who all care about the same person who is in trouble coming together, even though when it starts, Kumail, he doesn't have anything against the parents, but the parents, rightfully so, have something against Kumail because of how Emily just broke up with him. But watching that all kind of break down, and it begins at, the comedy club when, some racist frat boy yells out and heckles him in the audience, Holly Hunter just goes off on him.
Yeah.
Man, there was a moment when she jumps at this guy in the audience to try and attack him. It looked real to me. I've seen that where people in crowds just start, kicking over chairs to get to someone, and, people are fighting off. Whoo, man, they nailed that feeling of, oh, shit. And I love that Kumail was on stage at that moment, and he wasn't trying to, tell anybody, let's all sit down, let's all just be calm, it's okay, everybody. I love that he had the actual accurate reaction that 99% of people would have, which is, we all love to think that, something like that happened, I'd get in there and I'd be like, no, let's all just calm down. And Stan's like, no, 99% of us would be like, I don't know what to do.
It was he was trying to move on, and with his skin, it's so toast. And it's
he was trying so hard. Keep going.
We never got the punchline to that toast joke.
That's a good point. But and also I love that, like I said, they start off at least Ray Romano starts off a little bit awkward white guy racist, as I always call it. But there's a moment in which the frat guy in the audience, he's hardcore racist. And then it's almost like Holly Hunter and Ray Romano can't quite understand it, and they're like, why would you say that to him? Why would you say it? And Kumail's just we all know the reason why, we don't need to hear it. And then he goes, because of the way that he looks. And then Kumail's like, there it is. And that's when they flip out and they're like, oh shit. That's the thing that a lot of the casual racist white people, I guess I should say, that they don't really seem to think that there's real racism out there. And when they actually see it, it's kind of like that usual suspects turn around and drop the coffee cup moment for them. In which they're like, oh fuck, this is terrible. I can't believe because afterwards they're talking to me, I was like, is it like that all the time? It is a big growing moment for them in which they kind of realize, oh shit, I didn't know you had to go through that, man. Oh man, so sorry. Because they don't really do any other semi-racist stuff throughout the rest of the film that I know. So it was a big growing moment for them.
It's you mentioned that his parents are racist, but I don't really think so. I think they're just very traditional. Like,
no, I didn't say that Kumail's parents were racist.
Oh, I thought you...
I said that they are, basically what I said what you said, they're traditional.
Right, okay.
They are very much just, this is the way. This is how it is. And it's like, okay, yeah, that sucks for Kumail. But yeah, it's not like with Emily's parents. But after that night at the comedy club, when they're at home and they're actually just like, you could tell that was when they needed to get everything out of their system, because as soon as they arrive at Emily's place, which is where the parents are going to be staying this whole time, Holly Hunter just takes out the laptop and starts Googling every single thing that they talked about at the doctor's office. And I love that Ray Romano had a notebook that he was writing everything down and had to get the correct spelling of everything on, which is such like a dad thing to do. And I love that they gave him that little quirk. That was great.
Like, I don't know, like that might have happened in real life. We don't know. Like,
well, again, I mean, like that is a very like good character quirk in there to have. But I love that when Kumail was like, oh, I have to go, I've got a show that I'm doing tonight. Holly Hunter didn't want any part. He was like, all right, that's fine, get out of here, Kumail. But Ray Romano was just like, well, let's go, come on, we can do this, come on. And then, like, he doesn't say why he wants to go, but eventually just breaks down and is like, I need the distraction. I need to go and do something right now.
It's like interesting, like how the two parents like have different ways of like trying to deal with their daughter's situation. Yeah,
that was great too. But I love that after they go to the comedy club, and she just goes off on that racist heckler, and like Ray Romano goes off on him too. I love that when they get home, they're just like, woo! Oh, like it finally, like all the stuff that's been going up, like just came out of them. And after that, the rest of this film is just Kumail bonding with her parents, and it is great watching that. Like, it's one of the best, like, I don't want to say character arcs because it's multiple character developments, interactions. Yes.
Interactions.
It's amazing watching that happen. And as we mentioned, Ray Romano is great in here. He really kind of like disappears into the role. He does seem like a dad.
Yeah.
Is what it feels like. Which, I mean, Ray Romano is a dad, but he seems like the exact right type of dad that they need in this. Holly Hunter is amazing in here.
Yeah.
Man, this is one of those films in which, as I was watching this, I was like, here's all the people that deserve an Oscar nomination and aren't gonna get one because this is a comedy. Kumail Nanjiani actually probably deserves one. There's the moment when she's breaking down on stage.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I was like, this is the clip they would show at the Oscars when he's getting his nomination. When they're like, and now nominated for Best Actor, Kumail Nanjiani. It would show him up there on stage, having his breakdown, talking about his girlfriend and how much he loves birds. And I was like, fudge, that's good, man. But Holly Hunter, when she mentioned that she was a waitress and she came from North Carolina, you guys know I come from North Carolina, I went, oh my God, she's nailing it. Like, she just... Not saying that North Carolina has a specific accent that like only exists in that part, but just that feeling of the down-home waitress type. I was like, I grew up around those people. She is 100% in that moment. Normally, whenever I see a big actor or actress and they're having to be a mom or a dad in a film, I always kind of look at that like, oh man, you're better than that. Like, because that's always seen as being like not the main role. You have to be the assistant to the main role, and you don't get a moment to shine. You're really just kind of there to be a big name of, oh, look at who we could get in this film. They are both so good in these roles and have such big like moments themselves. And so much of the film is also about them. It's like, no, that's not an insult to say they're the mom and dad in this film. Those are great roles for them to have. Like, they really show off what they can do in these scenes. But yeah, I mentioned that this is a film I can see deserving Oscar nominations. Kumail, I would actually give him one for Best Actor, but Holly Hunter, Best Supporting. She's excellent in this. As far as nitpicks or criticisms of the film go, I think the ending kind of goes on and on, it felt like to me. Like, it felt like a whole lot of things happen in the part where it's starting to get towards conclusion territory. And I understand there's complicated stuff that needs to get resolved in here. And also, this is based on a true story. I'm sure this is a lot of the stuff that happened in real life. But a lot of times, the stuff that happens in real life, it can be simplified a little bit, get it a little bit smaller, and get, like, actually, to make it more streamlined for the actual film itself. Yeah, I felt like the conclusion kind of like went on a little bit, because after she wakes up, there's a great moment in which he comes in and it's like, oh, it's all gonna be great, and then you have to remember, oh yeah, last thing that she saw was
his box full of photos of women.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh yeah, we lived an entire couple weeks in here without that, in which we watched him grow and bond with your parents, and we watched him stand up to his parents and say, listen, I'm not marrying a Pakistani girl because I am in love with this other girl here.
It's like, all this while she was in a coma, so she did not experience him grow.
Like, she was like, I cannot be the reason why you have to leave your family. While she was in a coma, he left the family. He got kicked out of the family because he decided, I would rather be with you. So, yeah, we have seen this.
He would rather be with her, and he would rather do stand-up than be a lawyer or a doctor.
A lawyer with an arranged marriage, yeah. And I love that this film, like, you know, Kumail Nanjiani, like, he definitely comes out as, hey, the arranged marriage is not right for me. But I also like that his brother was like, yeah, man, it was weird for me at first too, but now my wife is my best friend. Like, it worked out perfectly for us. So I love that he is kind of like showing all the sides of this.
Right. It's like, you know, like what works with someone does not work with another person.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically how
Kumail
it is.
was a different person from the rest of his family, but he still loved the family.
Yes.
And at the end of this, like, he comes through and he is just like, I'm going to be part of this family. Like, we have to vote on this unanimously. I'm part of the family. I get a vote. I'm not voting to kick me out of the family. So I'm still here in the family. Like, he is very much, I am stuck here in the family no matter what you say or do. And at the end of this, there's a great moment in which the dad has to say goodbye to him as he's moving to New York. And the mom will not even look at him, but he's like, here, your mom cooked you this. I'm forbidden from hugging you. And you could tell the dad wanted to hug him and Kumail wanted to hug him back, but they weren't allowed to do it. It was like, man, it's so great that you could convey with almost no dialogue or no like actual like interactions the need to interact in that moment. That was really great, just this moment between the two guys.
Also the fact that his mom like cooked him like his favorite food as a goodbye present.
Yeah.
Like, it shows that she does still love him, but like she's still angry at what he did.
Yeah. And I kept wondering, like I said, if I ever met Kumail Nanjiani, I was like, the whole time I was thinking, I just want to ask him what happened with your family. Like, did this all end up working out? But at the end of this, you actually see the photos of them getting married in real life, and they have two different wedding photos. One when they got married with Emily's family, and then an actual traditional Pakistani family wedding with Kumail's family there. I was like, oh, okay,
That's
all right.
really nice.
Oh, I'm glad they put that in there.
Yeah.
I needed some resolution on that. But yeah, anything else that you really want to talk about?
Like, you complained about the ending, was like, I liked it. I mean, like, the thing about, like, movies is, like, you expect everything to be wrapped up in a nice, pretty bow, and that's not how life is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the reason why I didn't like Three Billboards was because I felt like it was kind of depressing. I felt like...
Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say the entire title, but yeah. It's like, it just felt like very... kind of depressing, but like this,
it was.
Yes. But like this, it's not like the perfect ending, but it's a satisfying ending.
Oh, I'm not saying.
And it makes me happy because this is based off a real life story. So it's like, this is how life is. Some things don't always go the way you planned, but if you hang on, they're not gonna get worse. They're gonna be okay.
Okay.
That's basically what I'm trying to get at.
Mine, I'm not saying I have a problem with how it ended, I'm just having a problem with that, like, the pacing of it. It kind of just kept going on and on and on. That was my problem. I thought they could have shortened it a little bit. I mean, there was important stuff in there, like you see that his brother was like sneaking out in sunglasses to watch Kumail's one-man show, and you saw like Kumail adjusted his one-man show to be more about himself rather than the history of Pakistan, which is what it originally was. But Emily, after she saw that, she said, yeah, you know, I feel like I learned a lot about Pakistan, but I didn't learn anything about you. And then after this, like at the end of it, he starts up a new one-man show, and it's all about his life in Pakistan.
I kind of felt like it was like first all about Pakistan because, like, you know, that's his tradition, and like he's like in America, so it's like he feels like he has to like educate everyone about his, you know, his country and everything. Is like, make it more personal, you know. So
that's what she was telling him.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was important that we saw that happen there at the end. But yeah, to me, it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, she's woken up. Okay, she wants nothing to do with him. Then he goes to the party for her after she returns home. They have the talk. He's showing her all the stuff he's done for her. Then she still kicks him out. Then she watches the YouTube video of him like talking about her up on stage, which I love that like that's actually believable. If someone was bombing as bad as Kumail was up there on stage because he was just breaking down, crying, talking about her, yeah, people would photograph it and people would videotape it and put it up on the internet. But she was watching that. Then she goes to the play. We see him doing the play. Then we see him going and talking to his family, and then we see all this and this and this. Basically, it was like there's a lot to be resolved here at the end. And I understand everything that happens there at the end is necessary, but it does create like this big feeling of like, okay, now are we resolved? No, we're not. Okay. Now are we resolved? No. Okay, he's moving to New York. That's another plot that just came up. Okay, no.
Well, I kind of like this. Like, they're not like extreme twists, but it's like, oh, okay, so this is happening now. So.
Yeah. It's okay. But yeah, so I really dug this film. It actually took a little while to get going for me. Like in the beginning, I had heard such good things, but as the film went along, I was just kind of like, okay, well, it's charming, but it's just two people being charming and caring about each other. It's not really making me laugh, not really making me sad, anything like that. Even when they broke up, I was like, okay, well, that's kind of a good point that she raises, but nothing really there. When she actually goes into the coma, though, holy cow, this film, that's when this thing came to life for me, ironically. But yeah, because the hospital stuff is shot wonderfully in here. Like, how Kumail is just, like, there in this, like, daze of, I have no idea what's going on. It captured that perfectly. And there's a lot of great shots in there of him, like, standing in the hospital as, like, how the parents are, like, contrasted against him. Like, you'll see a shot from behind and, like, the parents are, like, on both sides of his shoulder, like, talking at him as he's trying to, like, convince them to not move Emily. Or, like, there's another moment in which the parents go into the foreground and they're talking about whether or not they should keep Kumail, and they're arguing back and forth with each other, and then Kumail is way in the background, very tiny, and he's just standing there perfectly in the middle, and it's like, yeah, there's some really good shots that, like, just convey this feeling of awkwardness, and you don't know where to be at this moment.
And I like those moments because it's like Kumail is like actually like getting a chance to observe her parents.
Yeah.
He's getting to like see them in like their natural state, basically.
Yeah.
So,
and when you learn the thing about Ray cheating on the wife, it does take on new meaning, all that stuff. So yeah, I think that all this stuff in the hospital is shot great. The tension is really high. Then you really do like Kumail's acting goes up several notches once that point comes around. Like before that, he's just being Kumail Nanjiani. He's just being like, okay, yeah, hey, I tell jokes on stage. Yeah, all right. Once he actually has to show I have to be emotional in this scene, he can do it. He's really good at it. But also the humor to me gets so much better after she goes into the coma, because they actually are not afraid to like put in some pretty dark jokes in here. There is a moment when they have to have the doctors discuss with them what they're going to do about the daughter, and the only room that's available is the grief room, the place where they put people right after their family members have died. And they tell them, this isn't a bad omen, it's just the only room that we had available. And Camille's looking around, there's all these posters that go like, death is not the end, it's only a new beginning. Like, and I laughed hysterically at that, and it made me feel bad for laughing at it immediately afterwards. So yeah, there's brilliant jokes in here like that. But yeah, also this was directed by Michael Showalter, who is another guy who I've always liked his stuff, but never was blown away by it. So yeah, it's good to see him like finally really doing some A-class stuff here. I don't want to say that like the rest of his stuff hasn't been A-class, but I just never really noticed it. Like I always thought it was, I thought that he did the job. Whenever he directed a film, I was like, okay, it is a competent film. You put out there a perfectly serviceable film. This is the first time in which I could actually like notice the directing here. As I mentioned, when they're in the hospital, like the way that they have got everybody like positioned and everything, it really did convey strong messages in there. So yeah, he actually was really solid in this too. So yeah, this was our first film in the quest for the best. But remember, we don't just do that, we're also going back and forth between this and the Gauntlet of Garbage, in which we also watch back to back to back to back all of the films people call the worst movies of 2017, which in all honesty are the videos you guys are going to be way more interested in. But if you want to see any of those, make sure you click that subscribe button and come back towards the end of this month when we have the finalized best of and worst of list of 2017. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Come back next time.
Bye.